Hi, my name is Gianna Hoover, and I'm an intern at Work Wisdom and a student at Vassar College, here today interviewing Sarah Colantonio. Thank you so much for joining me. Awesome.
Thank you for
Okay.
having me.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course. Well, thank you. And to start off, could you just introduce yourself and your role at Work Wisdom? That'd be great.
sure. I would be happy to. So I am Sarah Colantonio. I'm founding partner but also the president at Work Wisdom.
So, well, thank you so much for joining. And then could you kind of just start off like how did a career in teaching kind of then evolve into this position and your work and involvement?
I know. I was thinking about this question
Uh-huh.
and it's kind of funny how it happened, but there is a lot of crossover.
Hmm.
So my background is in psychology and also communication.
Hmm.
And Work Wisdom, we focus on communication, organizational culture, behavior habits. And so with my psychology and communication background, it ended up working out. Kedron started the company back in 2015. I've been teaching for a while at that point.
Hmm.
And so some of the areas of focus, like our biggest, maybe not our biggest, but one of our first offerings was authentic communication. It continues to be an offering today. And so we were able to collaborate on that particular workshop.
So
And so there, that was like the germ.
that
At
kind
the
of brought it,
right place at the
yes.
right time. Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. And then what would you say is most rewarding about your work, whether specifically or just in general? Yeah.
There's so much rewarding about this work. Sometimes I can't believe I get to do it and I'm paid
Mm.
to do it. But there's a couple things. One is the team, is it's so amazing to work with all of you. Like you are all so brilliant and amazing and wonderful and bring incredible gifts. That is a joy. That is rewarding. And-
Yes.
But our clients too, we get to work with unbelievable people. And your mother, Maria, would probably attest to that as well.
Yes.
Um, just amazing world changers. So the ability to do that is wonderful.
Yeah.
There's something even about working with clients who are doing really good work in the world, and then when they realize their own like power and
Yeah.
potency, ability to make an impact, that is
Mhm.
like
Like
that makes
that
me so happy.
realization.
Oh
Yeah.
my, it's worth it all.
Oh,
But there is like a third piece that I was thinking about that's so unique to work wisdom and really something I love. And
mm.
I think part of um, it's probably one of the things that brought Kedra and I together in the beginning,
Mhm.
even before work wisdom,
Yeah.
which is the creative aspect of work
Mhm.
wisdom. We
Absolutely.
write, we make videos, we have a podcast. Uh,
Hmm.
I mean, we have an art director, right? Like it's like
Yes.
integrate exactly. And so we have modern work tools. So we have just in the DNA of work wisdom is creativity.
Mm.
And that to me is especially when it's rolling, when it's
Yes.
moving,
Yeah.
when the ideas are coming, it feels really good. So there is so much about this work that is rewarding, but those are my top three: the team, our clients, and the creativity we get to explore.
And the creativity is really just kind of like embedded in everything, even in the office. Like it's just a very creative, open space. Yes, exactly. Awesome. And then also, like, what would you say then balances all of that? Because you kind of name these different aspects. Like, what would you say balances that kind of all together then in your work professionally, and then also just the way that the kind of company runs and stuff?
Yeah. I think that balance is a funny thing. I don't always feel like
Okay.
balance, but I have to say that one of the biggest ways that I work to achieve balance is, and this is going to sound strange, but
Okay.
it's really through mindset. So, have you ever heard of growth mindset?
Yes, I have.
That okay, so that idea of growth mindset is like things that are challenging, things that are hard, you are able to see the opportunity in it. So there's a level of optimism there. And that really helps me. So
Mhm.
if I can look, because sometimes I can get overwhelmed
Yeah.
and a lot of things happening. But when I can remember, like, where's the opportunity? How can I grow from this? Um, how can I get stronger from this?
Mm.
Maybe what video, what article,
Yes.
what piece of advice that maybe a client will need can I draw from this? And
Mm.
so that mindset piece is really important. I mean, the balance is achieved also, like if as long as I get sleep, as long as I do some of my practices that
Yeah,
are really important to my well-being,
absolutely.
um, that helps. But I'm not gonna sit here and say, yeah, I'm a very balanced person and I
Yeah,
achieve
yeah,
time.
yeah.
But I try.
Absolutely. It comes with that sort of like awareness piece first, and then we can
Yep,
kind of like organize it over here. Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
And then what would you say maybe are some of the biggest challenges then like leaders face, maybe whether that is with balance or just in general facing right now? And then how would you address them?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think one of the things we're seeing now, and let's just say it's March, it's
Yeah.
2025. There's a lot of uncertainty right now, and some
Sure.
of our world changers are experiencing uncertainty at sort of the highest level,
Mm.
where there's a lack of predictability,
Yeah.
and some of it comes with a fair amount of fear.
Mhm.
What's going to happen? Are my people going to be okay?
Yep.
And so that level of uncertainty, I think, has become really challenging right now.
Mm.
And also, I think it's taken a hit for some folks on their confidence
Yeah.
and just even thinking strategically or acting strategically. How do we be strategic in
Yeah.
this, in the storm
Hmm.
uh, that a lot of people that we work with are experiencing?
Yeah.
And so one of the things that is really important for during this time,
Mhm.
it's actually more than just one thing, but um, the biggest thing I think is to have your core group of trusted people that you can rely on.
Mm.
And work wisdom, we want to be that community too. Like
Yeah.
community is really key right now. Finding folks who support you and love you and are going to be there for you. That is, I know that doesn't sound like very leadership coaching, but it's really important. Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's kind of the biggest thing. But also, um, you know, remembering to what I was talking about before, that mindset of looking for the opportunity here.
Mm.
But where can we grow? Where can we maybe even make some changes that could help us be, we talk about anti-fragility. So
Ooh.
it's how do we come back even stronger than before?
Mm.
Um, and so I think those two things, like really relying on our community, but also looking for the opportunity can help with this uncertainty. I mean, there's that we could go in more about
Yes.
how to deal with,
Yeah.
but I think acknowledging the challenges
Mm.
and dealing with them, I think is going to be more helpful than hiding out. Um,
Right. Yeah. So,
there's there's actually there's a great book a friend of mine lent to me called On Tyranny. It's
mm.
so good. I can't remember the author's name, but the last chapter I was reading, I kind of treat it like a devotional. And the last chapter was entitled Stand Out. And
Mm.
it was like, do the right thing, act with integrity. Don't be ashamed of that. Stand out. He even used the example of Rosa Parks. She
Mm.
stood out.
Good.
She wasn't
Yeah.
shy about it. And I think right now, it can be helpful to think about how can I stand out and stand up so that people know, I'm here. It's gonna be okay.
Good.
Um, yeah. So
Thing.
it's a really long answer, but anyway, I got
Love
excited.
that. Yeah, stand up, stand out, but then also community. So it's like that too. It's like so much playing in. Yeah, that's awesome. And then maybe what would you say like our current trends and then in like leadership development and then that with like organizations and then also with like leaders and like what should they be paying attention to?
Yeah, something that is, I don't know, it's not like exactly a recent trend, but I would say in the past
Hmm.
decade, something that has really emerged is recognizing the importance of emotional intelligence in our leadership. And so, of course, we started 10 years ago
Yeah.
really believing in this anyway. So it's good to see things catch up.
Hmm.
But what people are starting to notice is that it's very much connected to your ability to have more meaning and success and even joy in and success in the work that you do. So I think that that's part of it's an ongoing trend that
Whole
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
you need cognitive intelligence, of course, but emotional intelligence is so
Mm.
foundational. And the beauty of it, Gianna, is
Yeah.
that it's completely developable. It's not like, oh, you're born with this EQ, good luck.
Yep.
It's
You're boxed in or anything.
yeah,
Right. Yeah.
right.
Good
You
luck.
are not. You are not. You can absolutely develop and grow those skills. So I think that's something that we're seeing
Mm.
really expand. And also just the fact that now more than ever, this is something I'm noticing across some of the leaders I'm working with. Authenticity is, we crave leaders who have authenticity, and we are craving leaders who have integrity. We
Mm.
want so much. We want them to be congruent and have integrity. And so those are the trends that I think leaders should really be paying attention to. Be your true self,
Yes.
lead your teams with integrity and compassion,
Oh,
um, but also radical compassionate candor. And that's what we're seeing is really important in what people desire. So
oh.
it's a little different than back in the day, command and control. That was the
Mm.
way to do it. And that's
Right.
just not sexy anymore. Nobody wants that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
they want a
awesome.
more balanced leader.
Yes, and also yeah, compassion. I feel like that also kind of goes with like equity and stuff. And like you guys do a lot of work with equity specifically. And how would you then say you integrate that into your work and your
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up. I think equity is such an important topic. And we're not talking about money here, just by the way. We're
Not,
talking,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
talking about
Yeah.
equity. We talk about equity as just and fair inclusion. In fact, I wrote down how we define it, this
Ooh.
idea that with equity, everyone can participate and prosper.
Hmm.
And our goals with equity is to establish conditions that support all to reach their full potential. And we believe that equity creates a path from hope to change. And so,
Oh,
yeah, right. It's so active. It
yes.
recognizes that there is wisdom and creativity and innovation um, all throughout the organization.
Hmm.
And so we want to help, and that's why we focus on world changers, leaders who are world changers, who want to make a difference for the better. And so sometimes that means that, for example, Work Wisdom has every year we have a social mission partner.
Hmm.
And so one of the ways that we elevate equity is that we pick an organization or even a leader who maybe would benefit from leadership development and education, but maybe doesn't have the resources for it. And so that's like a small way that we like to contribute.
Yeah.
But I also believe equity is kind of built into our DNA. I mean,
Mhm.
we're women and gay owned.
There we
We talk
go.
about that quite a lot, and I think
Yes.
that and so I think even just being, that idea of like stand out, I think
Right.
just being open and visible in the world is a way of being an advocate and supporting equity in
Mm.
the um,
Oh.
I a couple of years ago, I was working with some clients who one of the participants pulled me aside afterwards and they told me about how their kid uh, might be gay, they're not sure,
Yeah.
and but that they told them about Kedron and I and our company, and this kid got so excited. They looked us up on Instagram, and it's like it seems really small, but
Mm.
that is huge
Huge.
because if you can see someone maybe like you
Mm.
that is out in the world and having an impact, then you're like, okay, this is possible for me. So it creates that path from hope to change. If Work Wisdom can be even a small contributor there, that makes me really happy. So
So
um
special.
yeah.
And visibility, yeah, visibility is just absolutely huge. And I love how it's so ingrained in just yes, that's so, so special. Oh, I
Yeah.
love that. And
Yeah.
then, okay, so what would you say then, like if someone would be interested in the organization, whether through just seeing you guys and being inspired or just in general in the path of like organizational behavior, what would be your kind of like advice to kind of get them started in that space?
That's a really good question, and I was grappling with it because it's a relatively new space. The
Oh,
fact that work wisdom focuses on positive organizational behavior, and our firm, it's all about the mindsets, the communication, the culture, the habits, the behaviors that help us get to high performance. And so it's kind of, I feel like Kedron started this new kind of niche in the industry. And so, I mean, I guess I would say, come talk to me. I don't
that's
know
awesome.
because it is a relatively new space.
Yeah.
Uh, Although I feel like over, probably the most couple recent years, people are much more open to it. I mean, when we
Mm,
first started, it was a lot of convincing. Like, this
mm.
is really positive organizational
Right.
behavior. It's going to help your organization.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So at this point, it's like a little easier.
Mhm. Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, that's come talk to me.
Okay. I love that. I love that so much. And then, okay, so what would you say then? This is kind of like off the topic of your professional life. What do you do for fun? Tell me
Oh,
about it.
that's
Yeah.
great. Yeah. I mean, okay. Some of some of the some of the things that I do for fun are actually work related, embarrassingly.
Okay. That's
I
amazing though.
Yeah.
Okay.
So most recently I'm working on a new animated short for Work Wisdom. So that was really fun to work on, and I think it'll be fun to film it. But not related to work. Family is so important. My friends, my wife, my dogs,
Oh,
hanging
that's so,
with
yeah.
all of them is
Mhm.
really key. And getting out in nature,
Oh,
those kinds of things. I like to read. My new thing now is listening to like Chapel Rowan and Dochi in my car really loudly. So if you see me like screaming in my car, it's probably because I'm just
oh,
singing really
as you
loudly.
should be. That's amazing.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
really
that.
loud.
Shameless plug. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
exactly, exactly.
And then what is maybe even like a small little thing here that just like makes you enormously happy, whether that's with your work or just in general? What's something that makes you happy?
Yeah. I've been thinking about this recently. This is, I think, Kedron was talking about how at Work Wisdom, we're a small firm.
Right.
We're a small team, but we believe so much in small things with great love,
Oh,
because that has such an outsized impact, and I don't know, that moves me. And so, but even that idea makes me think about like little things that do bring me a lot of joy. I'm going to ask you after I answer, so I want to know what small
that's
thing brings.
awesome. Yeah, 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 yeah.
But one thing is, and I get to experience this every day, is like, and this is going to sound so nerdy, but that first cup of coffee in the morning at
Oh,
like 6:15 in the morning, it is the best thing in the world. I don't, it's the first cup too. The second cup
yeah.
is, the first
Yeah.
cup
Yes.
is like, oh, it's
I
so
love
good.
that.
Um, and then the thing that makes it even better, this is like the cherry on top, is if my pup comes and like
That was gonna be my
on
answer.
my lap. I got my coffee and my little pup, and that's because he is small.
Oh,
He's tiny, and so those are two small things that bring me a lot of
I
joy.
was that was gonna be my answer.
Okay.
I'm studying abroad right now and just walking through the city and seeing dogs everywhere. It's such a dog-friendly city. It changes the day. It doesn't matter what the weather is, it doesn't matter what's happening. The innocence of that little fluffy
Uh,
thing walking around, just best part of life.
it's so good. What would
So
we
good.
do without them?
I
They're
don't
amazing.
I love that so much. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so, so much for chatting and taking the
Look,
time. It was a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you
you
so
too,
much.
Shiana. Thank you.